Hello, hello citizens of Somalia or anyone else viewing this presentation. I want to first thanks anyone or everyone who gave some suggestions on making this happen with different topics. But specifically for this one, Caesar Cuatro for this first one. So let's get set up and I will set my timer and let's get it. So got my timer right here and all right, start. So how many of you are fans of Marilyn Manson or someone a part of that vibe? Or are you more of a titty person than cake? Well, look no further. I'm going to be introducing to you a new breed of woman, which you may or may not have heard in the past. But look no further, it's going to be awesome. And so first, let's contextually define some key terms here. So what are big titties? So big titties are a big part of the female body in terms of reproducing. They are usually grown in the upper torso region around your chest. And yeah, they can nurse kids and they are soft to touch. They're usually in a round-ish shape. But yeah, they have a certain firmness and weight to it according to your size, which we'll get to right now. So according to Pop Magazine, they give us some different examples of like different shapes that they can come in, so they can be very round, they can be different sizes, they can be like, you know, banana, esque. They can go left and right, really sideways. They can be east and west. They can be bell-shaped or a little bit more slender. So many possibilities. And so I want no shaming or to be ashamed. You don't have to be because it's very natural to have different titties. But also sizing, okay? Um, is another complicated case. So bust is the output of, around your chest, the bigness. And then the band is, well, if you're a guy, if you're getting size for your shirt size or your coat size, then similar to that, and similar to your waist size, okay? So both encompasses a cup size, which ranges from A to triple D. But primarily for this one, we're going to be focusing on C to triple D. But anyone who's above or smaller you're still greatly appreciated here. It's just, the context for this. But yeah, big titties. Now moving on to culture, how culture and trends move in and out. So interesting because goth, according to the Old Dominion University, it starts from punk roots and incorporates some of their interests in horror stories and movies. But they also detail how they like darker clothing, darker makeup, um, and have a little bit of edge to their personalities. But let's get into the different categories that they mention. This is where it gets interesting. So the quintessential idea is they like dark clothing, dark makeup. Sometimes they like really bright red lipstick with all that. And body piercings, um, fishnets. And also they like studded wear. But Japan takes an interesting spin because this side we have a lot of different colors here, pastel goth, if you will, but it still encompasses that black heart. in their attitude. But also on the right, it is inspired by the old age sort of style, big fluffy dresses, with an umbrella in broad daylight, like vampires. But yeah, they really like occult themes, in patterns or different accessories, but still having that icy type of color tones in a monochromatic tone, type of color blocking. The last one is cyber goths, the cyber goth kids under the bridge. Um, they are underground, so EDM, electronic dance music. They're all pretty much underground, but they also like a little bit of color, but mostly dark, with the dark mentality as well, but also um, more highlighted and reflective gear, um, and jewelry. But also, they're into quite a range of music, but here's a few to sample. They like trance, electro, and techno in the EDM realm. They like rockabilly, rock and roll, gore, and indie music, like it's all sort of low key, but also non-conformist, all sort of solo-esque. Yeah. Now let's get into the whole picture. So Big Titty Goth Girl stems from a Tumblr post where someone is creating this fantasy or this role play of, really desiring the touch of his goth girlfriend's cold hands, which I want all the time. And this spread like wildfire, until this Facebook post that added onto that. So there was a comment adding to that and saying, "Oh, no one can have it worse than me. I don't have a big titty goth girlfriend." So really, the whole notion is stemming from goth girlfriend, and then adding on to that with different adjectives and nouns. Okay, resuming. So it's like everywhere now. We see it in memes, we see it on Facebook, on our timeline, when we're scrolling, everywhere, TikTok. And so in a big grand scheme of things, it's just a joke that stemmed from the idea of, really being attracted to this style, that girls dabble into and this lifestyle. It has to do with that zesty, sort of mentality, but also adding on to that fierce look that's very desirable. And so let me give you some examples of what they might be like, some representatives. The middle is what I think of when you give me the notion goth girl or big titty goth girl. But here we have Jade to the left. You might recognize her as a character from Victorious on Nickelodeon. I thought she was a great example as far as the high school heartfelt, type of theme. Um, yeah, and very relatable. And then for the right, we have Egg Goth, also known as Lee. Very multifaceted in like multimedia, social media, and an entrepreneur. A lot of different content creation of her own memes, educational, informative, fun, and adult entertainment. And it's all real interesting people, except I don't know who the person in the middle is, but still interesting. Just because she's a big titty goth girl. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. This is just something to put at your way to acknowledge that you might have known or just reinforce. Yeah, if you're a big titty goth girl, hit me up. Or if you don't have big titties or you're not goth, you can still hit me up and we can pray or something. But until then, I will catch you guys in a new presentation, but take care.